Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new podcast. Today, I would like to share with you a commentary on cursing. This is a commentary, some advices from Imam al-Ghazali from his book, The Beginning of Guidance, in which he um, gives some advice and tell us to beware about cursing. We shouldn't be cursing any of God's creation, neither the you know the plants, the trees, animals, neither human beings. And usually, as human beings, we can say that when we see injustices in the world, when we see that bad things happen, we immediately um, tend to react, and sometimes some words come from our mouth that perhaps later we regret. Sometimes we say them intentionally and we don't regret. Um, and other times we can say that we get upset with people. We could get upset with family, relatives, brothers, sisters, um, husband, wife, the people you love, the people you hate. So, but I think in general, you will be amazed about what Imam al-Ghazali says about cursing others, even your enemies. And I think I never seen such commentary and things from his point of view, but I think it's worth sharing for you and whoever wants to listen to it. He says the following in one of his books, as I said, The Beginning of Guidance. And regarding cursing, he wrote like this: beware of cursing anything that God Most High has created, whether animal or food or man himself. Do not be categorical in bearing witness against any of the people of the Qibla, that is, any Muslim, to the effect that he is a polytheist or infidel or hypocrite. The one who apprehends secrets is God Most High. Do not interfere between God Most High and his servants. On the day of resurrection, you will not you will certainly not be asked, why did you not curse so and so? Why were you silent about him? On the contrary, even if throughout your life you have never cursed Iblis, meaning the devil, and never employ your tongue in mentioning him, you will not be questioned about that or asked to give an account on the day of resurrection. But if you curse anyone whom God created, you will have to give an account. Never blame anything that God Most High created. The Prophet, God bless and preserve him, would never criticize bad food. When he wanted anything, he ate it. Otherwise, he left it alone. And I would like to quote something else because he says, invoking evil on creatures. He says, guard your tongue from invoking evil on anyone whom God Most High has created. Even if he has wronged you, yet the whole matter is in the hands of God Most High. A tradition says, let the victim invoke evil on the wrongdoer until he requites him. If he does so, then the wrongdoer will be his creditor, and he will have to give account on the day of resurrection. A certain man said much against al-Hajjaj, whereupon one of the fathers remarked, as surely as God will take vengeance on al-Hajjaj for those he wronged, he will take vengeance for al-Hajjaj on those who attack him with the tongue. And I think this is amazing the way he puts things this way, because basically he's saying, leave matters in God's hands. It is not on from our side to take revenge or to curse anyone or to invoke evil on someone. And it is amazing because he's saying that we shouldn't even do this against someone who has done something bad to us. He's saying even if he has done something to you, you're not supposed to react or respond in the same way. You shouldn't be paying evil with evil. And he says everything is in God's hands. And don't worry, in the day of resurrection, this person, whoever did something bad to you, they will pay. So, like I said, it's not that easy to be able to control yourself, especially when you see evil governments, uh, presidents of countries who are oppressing the people. Perhaps your family have suffered. Um, some of your relatives perhaps died because of the war, because of the oppression of tyrants, because of the oppression of people who do evil not only to their own people but also to others from different religions, etc. And of course, it's part of human nature, to react in such a way, to feel pain, grieve, and of course you want to take vengeance. You want to take justice in your hands because basically you're just trying to apply justice. And of course, we forget that the ultimate judge is God, and things that happen in the world are God's will. And this is one of the pillars of faith in Islam. It is a requirement to believe in fate, either good or bad things that happen to a believer. War, famine, diseases. How many tragedies are happening in the world? And sometimes we tend to think as human beings in the sense that we blame governments, we blame such presidents, we blame such people, we blame many individuals, and we forget that things that happen in the world are happening not because such president did this, not because such a people did such a horrible thing, or because no, things happen in the world because God wanted this way. It's in the Quran when He says, "Whatever God has decreed will happen," and a believer must accept it as God's will. Predestination, either good or bad things that happen in the world happen because of a reason, and the one who is behind everything and controlling everything and in the control of everything is God Most High. And sometimes it's like, of course, nonsense, to get upset with the one who hits you or with the stick when in reality, don't look at the stick, don't get upset with the stick. You look at the hand who is holding the stick, who is the individual, who is the person who is hitting you. Is a very animal behavior to get upset with a stick when the one who is holding the stick is God. So this is called fate, predestination, good or bad. And like many prophets went through many bad things. If we examine the life of the prophets, and we notice that for none of them things were easy. Their own people reject them. They have to flee for their lives. Many of them got killed, ridiculed, mocked. Their families were also persecuted. Their followers were also chased, hunted down, tortured, killed. But none of the prophets took revenge on their own hands. On the contrary, they always trusted God. If they had to flee for their life, they did so. And like ultimately the judge is God. Of course, it doesn't mean that if someone comes to kill you, you're not going to defend yourself. Of course that you have to defend yourself. If someone comes to kill you, you have to do everything in your hand to protect yourself and to protect your family, and to go to, of course, to the justice, go to the police, go to the government and take legal action. But going beyond what is required, this is what I understand from Imam al-Ghazali's words, shouldn't be done. Because even the Quran states that when someone do wrong to you, you have to behave in a way that never, go beyond. You're always at the same level of what was done to you, up to the extent that your life is safe, your family is safe, the people that you love are safe. And if you can live to avoid a conflict, if you can leave a country who is oppressed because of a tyrant government, like so many countries in the world, and the situation that we see in the Middle East, okay, leave. If you can't do it, leave. At the end, remember that everything is God's will. The presidents, the people, whoever is doing good or bad, they're simply puppets in God's hands. They are the instruments that God is using to be able to fulfill His will, because at the end, everything is a lesson, everything is a test for the believer. Sometimes God tastes us with very difficult things, difficult situation, but like the saying goes, God tastes those that He loves. Those that He don't love, He just struck them at once and He get rid of them. But when He tests His servants, and you are able to endure, and you are able to accept everything that comes from God. Like the prophet Ayub, when he was being tested, he said that I'm not going to accept, I mean, this that is happening to me. I'm going only to accept the good things and not the bad things. Everything comes from God. And I accepted. And at the end, of course, it was all a test. And every human being, that the Quran says, don't you think that you think that you're going to get into paradise without being tested? Do you think that you're not going to be tested with famine, hungry, diseases, war, and many bad things? It's in the Quran. So who is the one who is doing these things? It's God who is ruling the world. We, as human beings, of course, we cannot see God. We cannot see the invisible world. Therefore, we react according to what we see. If we see someone, a neighbor, who did something bad, a brother or a sister that in the community did something bad to us, it's a logical human reasoning that we might get upset with such people, because that's what we see. But we cannot see what's behind, and behind it's God's hand, and He's trying to. Everything is a test. He's trying to refine us and see. Okay, you say that you are merciful. You say that you love me. You say that you are so peaceful. Okay, prove it. Let me test you with this, and let's see if you are truly my servant. Oh, you say that you are able to control yourself, that you control your anger, that you are not greedy. Okay, let me see. I will give you money. Let me see how do you react. I will take everything from you. I will take everything away. Let me see how you react. I will send such and such brother, family, relative, neighbor, whoever, and let's see, he will do something to you, or he will spread bad things about you, and let me see how do you react. If you are really perfect in your character, let me see, you say so, and you show off in front of people, and it's a big, oh, look at how pious I am in front of the community, how I pray, how I this, how I that, the ultimate believer. Or really, let me test you, let me see, because you cannot fake yourself, neither internally you know who really you are. You might deceive others, but you cannot deceive God. So if you really are the way that you pretend or show, okay, God tests us. Even um, for people who, this is just an example, no, it's just I'm just putting some examples here. But God tests every human being on earth. Everything happens because of a reason, because of a purpose. And to be able to have always the clear and proper mentality to know that God is the one who is refining us. Sometimes it's not easy, like I said, because when big tragedies happen in our lives, we tend to forget, and we tend to get upset with other people, and we forget that everything is God's testing us. And sometimes not only the person who is testing, but the instrument that he uses to test someone else is also a test in itself for that person who is being used as an instrument in God's hand. And having this notion and clear understanding could help us to avoid many troubles and to attain peace, perfection. And ultimately, like Imam al-Ghazali said, God is the ultimate judge, because reacting in such a harsh and improper way will means that, yeah, okay, in the day of resurrection such individual will be judged, but you will be judged too, because you did not have the proper way of understanding, and you took it against such creature who was created by God, because even the good and the bad that is created is being created by God for a reason, for a purpose. That's why he's saying, do not curse any of God creatures. Not even Iblis. You're not gonna be asked if you curse Iblis or not, if you curse the devil or not. That's not what you're going to be asked in the day of resurrection. So look how powerful are the words of Imam al-Ghazali regarding cursing or invoking evil against anyone, either relatives or friends or neighbor or governments of countries or whatever injustices are happening in the world, or good things or bad things. Everything everything is happening because of a reason. Everything is being is the whole show is being run by God. Let's put it this way. Meaning the world is being run by God, and he knows what he is doing. We are not at his level. Who am I to tell God, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that? Who am I to tell him how he should run his world? He is the creator of everything. And of course, even what power do we have? We are even his servants. We are also his creation. We cannot tell the creator the way he is supposed to behave or act or do. And it's important to have this understanding, and I think this is what Imam al-Ghazali is trying to explain for all of us. I want to thank you for listening to this reflection. And if you have any comment regarding this, you are welcome to leave them in the comment section. And God willing, we'll see each other in the next podcast.